Oh, hey, didn't see you come in. Okay, I always want to say that. And ironically, I had this out. Yes, I have all 12 issues of Wednesday Comics, and I was just reading through this, and okay, again, I'm not going to keep that up, but hey, we next up on our MIA Creator Spotlight, as promised, I'm going to be talking about the works of Jimmy Palmiotti, the guy who brings the Brooklyn style into the comics. Okay, I'm playing up the Brooklyn side. He only does that one time during the Harley Quinn comic, but wondering why I opened up with this? He and Amanda Conner did the Supergirl art and strip during all this, and it's really fun, really good, and basically the whole point of Wednesday Comics, I just want to get this out of the way, was bringing back the old Sunday Comics feel again. Except in this case, you have the entire page, the old comic section, where we got full-page comics. Just look how huge this could be, and even when they clicked it, they kept it to the full size. And look at this, it is Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso working again. Just look at all that. And yeah, just wanted to get that one out of the way because of its size. That Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti, I think this is their first time doing it without Justin Gray. I'll get to him in a moment. And it was a fun story. Very crazy. I'll just sum it up. Pets are going crazy, especially with Crypto and Streaky. Supergirl's trying to help calm things down. She takes them to actually, you know what? I gotta show them. As you saw in that one, she's chasing the pets, and then hold on a second. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit complicated to do this one. Oh, just more chasing them. Crypto getting found by going after the mailman. Bad dog. It's a dog odor. Yeah. He's like. My dogs have never gone after the mailman, but I love when they play that up. Then, don't worry, I'll continue on. Just give me a moment. Oh, more crazy stuff going on with hers first telling Crypto to calm down, and then Streaky's going after a plane with a mouse on the back, and she's like, "Oh no, cat chasing mice." Again, some of these actually had more stories in each of them. Hers is a bit more going through just the motions and everything, but the plot eventually does continue on. As I have a feeling it's going to take the bulk of my video. I'm sorry, folks. Let me just get out of the way. Then I will continue talking a bit more about Jimmy, but once I got started, I can't stop it. Oh boy. Again, great artwork from Amanda Conner as well. Streaky is staring down that stupid mouth. And what do you think happens? Just grabs it, rips the bottom right off of it. Stupid cat. Seriously, cats are crazy. I know some people out there who can agree to that. And then, hold on. Oh, come on. That's the problem with this thing, is that the pages, because it's actually on newsprint, to give it that old-fashioned feeling, it can be a little hard to get through without, I'm not doing the old licking my finger thing, because with how old this thing is, it's not a good idea. Okay, yeah, basically the pets are just acting up again. Sorry, I'm just trying to breeze through it. She's all like, "What's going on with you guys?" And that's just by up to part 5. That's by the 5th installment. It took 5 installments to get there. Trust me, if it was just the one story, it would have been worth it. But you have all the other stories, makes it worth it. Oh, I love this. This is what I wanted to show. She takes them to see Aquaman, who's treated like a vet, and he's on a clamshell phone. He's just going on like, hold on. He's just all like, "Yeah, hold on, what can I do? Oh yeah, okay, now that's all done. What's the emergency?" That's a take on Aquaman I've never heard of before. Having it because he talks to animals, he actually is like, yep, okay, what's the ever? I never heard of that version of Aquaman. I love it. They do, this is, and we'll get more into talking about those two. They came up with some very, 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 very clever ideas. Again, sorry for the more unorthodox opening, but again, once I get started, oh yeah, then of course, but then it's brought up how, yeah, I deal with fish, not pets. I'm not a vet. So, makes a suggestion to go off and, okay, I just wanted to get to that Aquaman bit out of the way. Basically, we find out it's aliens that's responsible for it. They talk to them, the dog, and then what Supergirl's doing with all this stuff, Crypto and Streaky are talking, and then once they leave, it turns out, you see this smirk, okay, I'll just show the last page. Because you see this little smirk on, Streaky and Crypto, because she's all like, well, crisis absolved. Yep. Basically, they're treated like they're ambassadors, and look at that smirk on their face. As, they're just like, I find it quite extraordinary, the hideous creatures one takes on its pet. There was no tails at all. Queen Streaky told me there were millions of them roaming freely on the planet. Frightening. Frightening. Just frightening. They basically convinced them, like, yep, we're the king and queen of Earth. You know, they're super pets. They pretty much are, in a way. This was pure comedic gold. Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about Jimmy Palmiotti. Jimmy started off as an inker. He's been inking so many comics for years, but eventually guys started getting into writing. I'm not exactly sure when he first started, but yeah, he's been writing and working in comics for a year. Oh crap, forgot something. Be right back. Sorry about that, I need to get one of the other books out. But again, I don't even remember what the first book I ever bought from him that he was writing, but he started off his writing career with Justin Gray, another guy who's done writing, although I'm more knowing for him. This is a case where, okay guys, I'll be honest, this is where a lot of my encyclopedia knowledge is kind of fizzy a little bit with Jimmy and Justin as far as their history. I know about them as their writing style as they stand, so don't be disappointed there, but as far as doing any research on them, this is where relying on my brain has kind of failed me a little, I openly admit, but still though, those two started working together. Then eventually Jimmy went on to working with his wife, Amanda Connor. Incredible artist, you'll be seeing loads from her throughout all of this. And basically as that went on, eventually that's where they are currently. He's done a few things solo here and there, but yeah, let's first get some of the Marvel stuff out of the way, because one thing about Jimmy and Justin is that sometimes they work on their own stuff, other times they're just guys who get paid for gigs, doing little stuff here and there, or because like artist needs a writer, sometimes they'll tap them. One example of them, I think, was on the gig, given the location of this, is not surprising. The Elektra on the Rise, a little mini comic that came in the Elektra movie director's cut. Yeah, I bought it, so what? And basically, Jimmy and Justin basically write up about Elektra being her being dead, the Hand on the rise, getting she's resurrected. The Hand steals her body, and then she's resurrected eventually. And this is all basically this is their own take on her resurrection. It's not canon. It's its own little thing to give people a good understanding and everything. She kicks all kinds of ass, and it just ends with her back on the street. Again, not meant to be canon. It's just meant to be a little primer for people who don't know much about Elektra and give them a little taste of things. And for what it is, it's serviceable. Then you get into this one. It's a book I love. I love it because one, it features one of my favorite Marvel characters. Another one that I really like. It's full of action and everything, and it's just all a lot of fun with the writing. And that's Wolverine, Black Cat, Claws. Yeah, you would be like, why these two together? Why Wolverine, Black Cat? Why does Black Cat have a weird look? Well, John Linchner of wait, what was he known for? He was known for Dawn, the character of Dawn, his own little creator-owned stuff, was given an opportunity as he goes in the director's, the behind-the-scenes features of this, to pick characters he wanted, and he wanted these two. Of course, the only thing that really they have in common is that one has claws and the other one has claws. And basically, Justin and Jimmy and Justin were sent in, and basically given a chance to give him a story. And it's involved Arcade and Wolverine and Black Cat both get abducted and brought on. For a moment, you think it's Kraven, and in fact, Lynch here said he based Kraven off of Frank Zappa. Go get music fans, tell me, does that look like Zappa? The guy doesn't. Yeah, there's a little Black Cat ass right there. So, but and basically the two of them are having all kinds of fun. They're just trying to get out. They're stuck together and having to deal with each other. Oh, of course. Wait. Hey, watch the hands, Buster. The thing is, though, is that Lyncher does not draw busty Black Cat Felicia. He still does a very good Felicia nonetheless. And poor Wolverine throughout all this, he just gets his butt handed to him all over the place. And basically by the end of it, the two go out eating, and it just ends there with them at a restaurant as Rabbit and White Buddy, I think her name is, at Arcade or at the Savage Land and everything. And yeah, basically ends there with a nice fun action romp. But it was popular enough to get a sequel in Wolverine Black Cat Claws 2. And in this case, it takes a different swerve where basically, well, one, you have a different colorist for this case. And this is a case where it was just Jimmy. No Justin. At all. And I don't know, no, actually, nope, I take it back. Justin is involved, never mind. But yeah, and then Joseph Michael Lyncher, he's basically, dealing with a whole bunch, it opens up right at the restaurant, right where it ended. And basically someone tried to rob the place. I love this, how he's like, oh no, you don't. I got this one. Personal reasons, you understand? Uh-oh. And then throws the guy off the building and he lands in a hot dog vendor. I want him arrested. Sorry, I'm off duty. And because they saved the day, basically leads into a whole bunch of, them getting for like, you'll have whatever you want. And then this is where they're starting to get a bit more flirty, and given how this happens after the stuff with the prior story, it kind of makes sense that they're starting to feel a little bit more like, ooh. I mean, at the end, and one thing I actually do, I have to wonder who convinced Lynch here, because he originally had it be Felicia did not wear the domino mask, because he always calls it an idiot mask, and I guess some people say that. I think it still has its place, but basically that's why she had this full face mask on, under her hair flowing over it, which is why she had those cat ears there. But in this case, probably because she was not dressed for the occasion, she has a regular domino mask in her purse. Probably because it was a case where, yeah, how's she going to get changed? Oh, something in her purse? Does she have the mask? No. And that's my guessing is what led to it. But basically, they use a little time device and sends them to the, I think, what is the, Kill Raven, to the Kill Raven timeline with Martians attacking and everything. And basically, yeah, it's there. They are sent back in time dealing with this stuff. And despite seeing Black Cat in her outfit on the covers, we never see her in the covers, like, at all. But as it goes through, again, you just have some great art. Lynch here draws some great women. I will give him that. And I love this one bit where basically they have to realize, okay, how acidic is the water? So, because of its healing factor, Wolverine just dips his hand in there, waits a couple of minutes before he takes it out and just sees what the damage is. And then he's all like, give it about, it's starting to eat through my skin, that gives it about 4 minutes. So as they go through, yeah, Felicia's outfit's starting to get eaten away. Not drastically, obviously, but enough to like, ooh. And then by the end of it all, they, it ends with they help kill Raven in the future, Then they're sent back in time, able to do some time wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff with Arcade and the bunny, and then right afterwards they're able to stop things before it begins. Although that doesn't that mean that now it's 2 Wolverines and Black Cat? Who cares? And at the very end, first of all, love this shot of Felicia, love it. And then after that, you see Wolverine basically decides we're in the Savage Land, a better place to be like animals, and that's where it ends. I never got the hardcover. I still need to get it, just so it can look good next to this one, and maybe there's some more behind the scenes stuff in there that I don't know about, but this was just a fun romp. That's all I can say about this. It was a fun romp. Jimmy and Justin's writing were very, very good. Now here's the case where it is just, well, okay, let me just clarify if it is just, yep, just Jimmy. The only other Marvel book I had by him, and that's What If AVX. It's the first time they actually gave a full-on miniseries to an AVX. Yeah, and hold on a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, I just realized that the lighting is not doing it very well for showing off the books at all. So, but yeah, AVX basically shows and tells us, and it got its own miniseries. And throughout all this, it basically shows a few differences, like what if Magneto was the one who was giving Hope the training? What if different X-Men went by? What if things played out very differently? And basically one of the first big differences is that it's Magneto who's the one who's talking to him, not Cyclops. Causes things to get more aggravated, and then eventually Wolverine stabs Storm, and this is Wolverine working with Cap, not the X-Men. And so Magneto decides, this means war. He's basically given the excuse he needs to finally enact everything. And basically then you have some people going off, dealing with the Phoenix. The Phoenix kills Thor. Yeah! Thor is toast. Destroys Mjolnir even. Yeah, I wonder if female Thor could have done the same. But then, the Phoenix goes to Hope, as what they were trying to avoid in the actual regular story, and because she's been under the whispers of Magneto, he's now deciding to use her to bring about the end of everything. And she does. No, really. They bring about the end of everything, of all humans. And so it's decided, and seriously, look at all this. Look at all this carnage. And they realize they have to take her down. They go in fighting against her, and really wounds her. Until then, it's this, and she even takes out Cyclops and Scarlet Witch. But then she's very wounded. Goes to Magneto. He kills her and takes the power for himself. And then he kills Wolverine, Iron Man, and Captain America. Seriously, it's just like a bloodbath. And look at this. Phoenix Magneto. Awesome. But then Xavier shows up. He does he blocks, and he's able to psychically block his eyes, making Magneto blind. Hulk throws Wolverine. Fastball special. And chunk. And then he just explodes. And basically, everyone dies. Yeah. Everyone dies except Wolverine. Why? Because Phoenix and Jean, as Phoenix now, picks him up and basically speeds him along throughout history until they decided they're going to start a new life. Nice little what if. It's a typical what if, but able to flesh out and give more cool moments. And it started the trend, and they've been doing then of these more thematic what ifs, more so than before. It's the only one that's an actual full-on mini-series anyway. All the other ones have been tying around specific events, which I like. Until the recent ones where they kind of went back more to the traditional ones. Except for that Ghost Rider one I did my first video on. But now, let's start getting into his DC work. And let's start off with one of the first ones I think I've ever read from him. Infinite Crisis Aftermath, The Battle for Bloodhaven. I gotta say, I don't know if you guys still watch Linkara, but if you ever saw his review on this, he speaks a lot. There's issues with this, but I think a lot of this is, again, he and Justin were given a task, and they had a story, because One thing I did remember him saying recently on Twitter about Countdown was, Countdown, which I'm not talking about today, because one, I don't have the whole thing, and two, down in my basement again, but he felt like Countdown was the first time he ever did something where it felt like a TV show, where he was told what to write. So, in this case, I think he was given just some mandates, but told to make a story out of it. Because otherwise, why would that Countdown be the only time he had an issue with it? So basically, this ends up being a prequel to his Uncle Sam stuff that I'll get to in a minute. But it still did tie some other stuff up, and they brought in Captain Atom after his time in the Wildstorm universe during Armageddon. And it basically just kept tying into so many other things as it went on. We brought in the new Phantom Lady, but the thing I would just say this is that there's so, like when Carl was saying, there's so many unanswered questions. So many like, wait, what? Wait, how does this make sense? Wait, just so much thrown at you at once that you just don't get it. And then you have a point where Ravager, Rose Wilson, who's been trying to avoid killing one, kills a woman, stabs right through her, but then later on they act like nothing happened. And then you bring in, and right down to the point of Cyborg saying, as long as you didn't kill anyone. Yeah, she did. Now whether or not it's still brushed aside. Then you had, then of course you have the big one where Captain Atom becomes Monarch. That's what he was supposed to do way back in Armageddon 2001. And basically, he just vaporizes Bloodhaven. It's nothing but a big crater, and then it looks like they're bringing in some kind of their own version of the Superhero Registration Act. And then it starts to lead into, well, first, it leads into Command D. Ha! And he did write one of the Command D challenge ones. I should have grabbed it, but I'm going to simply say it brought in this very cute plant girl because Amanda was drawing it, of course. And yeah, this cute plant girl, which I really loved her. I was so glad that Paul Levitz had to beat it. She was brought back to him at the very end of the whole thing. And then, throughout all this, throughout all of that, is that they're just dealing with stuff. And again, I liked the character, and it was a nice, fun adventure, and it was one of those, ends on a cliffhanger. I've shown you guys the other one before. No need to really go much further about it. Then, his Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters. I gotta first say, I'm not a big Daniel Acuna fan. Just something about his artwork doesn't do it for me. I'm not sure if it's just the coloring or what. No, I think it is the coloring. And I think he does his own color. Yep, usually does his own coloring, and it just has issues. But we're not here about talking about it. We're talking about his writing, and this one felt like a big step up from this, where we're starting to bring in the other members of the Freedom Fighters, like a new Ray. We're introduced more about the new Phantom Lady and everything. And Firebrand, who big pain in the ass in this. He's not as much so in this one. And then we're bringing in some of the other characters. We bring in Miss America, and that's one thing I will give Jimmy and Justin, is that they're able to come up with new characters and yet at the same time pay respect to the old. And in a lot of ways they do pay respect. I mean, most of the Freedom Fighters were killed off during Infinite Crisis, so it was a chance to work on some new ones. And then you had like the Ray they were dealing with. Oh, he's bad, obviously. And hold on. Sorry about that. But then we had the regular Ray show up to help out at the end, dealing with his little, wannabe. And we had to be that Phantom Lady's father was a senator and became president, and he got killed off, and then that's dealt with kind of brushing it aside a little. And basically we have stuff like what's an interesting Condor, sets up a lot of mysteries. They deal with a lot of them. Then we also bring in where's Miss America? Because the way they bring in Miss America is actually kind of fun, because at first you think like, oh, she's going to be, first of all, look at Uncle Sam here. That's awesome. They really had a handle for Uncle Sam. In fact, these one guys would really handle Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters for a go. Here we go. Basically they show up, think she's an imposter, and then it ends with, the issue ends with old woman coming out a bit out of nowhere, and and basically tells her off until we reveal that she was using her powers to age herself. She's been immortal the whole time. The two fight and fight until she wins against it. Obviously, just being one of those weird swerves that Father Time, who's the adversary during all this, Father Time is an interesting character that Morrison introduced, and those two have played up on a bit. Well, you never know whose side he's really on. Is he a good guy, bad guy, whatnot? Then we get the other follow-up, the other miniseries they had. In this case, artwork by Renato Arlet. And I know, it sounds like I'm breathing through this because there's so much to talk about in all this, and it's kind of just hard what to say about it. Really, it is kind of just hard. Like, I'm trying to think about what to say, but yeah, you just have these interesting things going on. Basically playing a fallout from the events of this one, where basically they bring in a lot of politics. They bring in a lot of it. At the same time, when I was looking through this, I didn't feel it was forced down on me. Now, maybe I need to read through it again. But basically, again, it just plays up with a lot of the fallout, like I said, the fallout of this one. And they're dealing with another threat again. These weird monsters, and it's very weird. It's all I can say. It's just very weird. Very crazy, very self-contained. And by the end of it all then, it looks like the team is separated for now. But we all know that they're going to come back again, and they do in the Freedom Fighters, of which that one I don't own. Sorry, was not able to get that one. But again, I got all these bit of a completionist in me, but I didn't mind them. I can't really summarize them too much because, again, that one way too detailed. I may do a full-on coverage on it one day. Who knows? But that wasn't the last time they would attempt to do stuff with the Freedom Fighters. I say attempt because it didn't really go anywhere. It lasted 3 minis, but you had first, during one of his last works for DC, that kind of filled out his contract, they and Jamal Igo worked on The Ray, where they brought in a new 52 version of The Ray, and one thing I like about this is that it's unconventional. Like, The Ray here is he's a Korean American who basically some weird device hit and went off. He got hit by it while he was being a lifeguard, and basically then he has, he just starts running until he ends in Seattle, and I just love the humor in this. Like, where in the world am I? Seattle. Are you an alien? No, I'm from California. That explains a lot. Where are your clothes? Like, sorry, don't be. Again, and I gotta always give props to Jamal Igo. Say what you will about the man and how he is on Twitter, but he has such great artwork, great women. I love the women that he draws. And I love it how basically, I think they're adopted as parents, but they're a bunch of hippies. And I love this bit. My son was hit by an experimental thingamajig ray, and now he's a walking glow stick who can't wear pants. Hi, Shantae. You look lovely. Hi, Judy. You look, earthly. Is she high? Probably. But what she said was fairly accurate. And he starts to kick a whole lot of butt. And eventually leads into a bad guy being someone who was reincarnated into a film reel. Hold on. What was his name? His name was... Hold on. Thaddeus Fillmore, who's been able to be reborn, and he can actually manipulate reality. And basically what I just love about this is just, again, just so much interesting stuff and throughout all of this. It's just 3 issues, but one thing I love, especially most of all, is it ends with Shantae, his girlfriend, Ray's girlfriend, just pointing a gun right at the bag, Fillmore. And I'll get it, movie, Fillmore. And what happens? Normally you think, something doesn't, and she doesn't pull the trigger. Opens right away with her pulling the trigger. Yeah. Didn't see that coming. And actually there's a point to it. Because, I love it. The cover you think, big action. Nope. But instead, as he's dying, the Ray uses his mind to manipulate, basically hypnotize him into using his powers one last time to fix his history and fix the mistake he did that night that the Ray had done that night. And basically, Fillmore has a better life. He's a better man than he ever was. And at the end, we see Uncle Sam. Yeah, reincarnated. I can accept the change of a character, his race and everything in this incarnation because, well, it's a new incarnation. Why can't he be reborn? Next, we then have Phantom Lady and Doll Man. I actually really liked it. That basically they're two people who are friends. Doll Man gets shrunk and he stays shrunk down, and Phantom Lady is this young woman who gets caught up in this whole shebang. And basically they deal with this one corrupt business guy. But I do like, again, how Justin and Jimmy give thought to how some of these characters, their abilities work. Like Doll Man, he flies around in an interesting jetpack. Nice. And then when he's using the dark light and energies that most versions of Phantom Lady have used, and I loved it. Like, how do you know my my outfit down to my body well enough to custom tailor it? I'm good with numbers. Besides, we did use to sleep together. And basically uses that, to show off, she can go transparent with the hood and everything. And then she tries using, making guns, but he's like, no, won't work. Can't leave it. And then, I love it. I could play one hell of a dominatrix, and Atrix. I hear it pays better, than most gigs, but the hours. And again, these two kind of deconstruct a lot of some of the stuff, especially when they deal with their villainess, whose name's Funerella, Queen of the Undead. They fight her, end of the issue. Once again, you think, oh, she's going to be a big threat again? Nope. She's taken out unceremoniously, dealing with the big businessman, slips something in her tea that makes her frozen, and basically has her carved up, and her parts scattered across. Again, you're like, okay, not what I was expecting. But yeah, they stop the bad guy, and then Uncle Sam and Ray show up, and hold on, let me get to it. Basically does the I want you. And they show up, and then last but not least, we have Human Bomb. This time with Jerry Ordway. Oh, that was Kat Staggs and Tom Derenick, who did the artwork for the Doll and Phantom Lady. But yeah, you have Jerry Ordway. I love his artwork, always have. And basically they deal with a guy who, basically people are becoming human bombs. They're just combusting all over. But the guy we have in this one, he doesn't blow up. He's able to control his explosions. And basically they deal with this huge race of aliens that's been kind of involved with everything. And at the very end, he's also introduced to them. Obviously they were trying to build up to a new Freedom Fighters, but like I said, they probably would have brought in a Condor, but it never finished. We never know what's going to happen with that version. Jimmy, if you ever see this video, doubt it, but if you ever do, I'd like to know what was going to happen. Then we get this. The search for Ray Palmer. In this case, the story, there was a bunch of one-shots in this. It goes throughout different areas of the multiverse. And this one was the last one, actually, where it's Superwoman and Batwoman. From the Jeff Loeb, his little arc he did at the end of Superman Batman that dealt with other universes. And basically they first it opened up with, instead of Amazon's attacks, it's the Wonder Man attack. And that's what it is, Wonder Man, as he shows up and they fight. And yeah, basically you have all of these, like this version of the Freedom Fighters. And basically, yeah, they're all fighting until Jason and Donna and and Kyle show up, and they help things out, and then they meet up with the female Ray from this universe who had met up with their Ray Palmer. Find out what's going. They find out. They just find out like, oh, he's left again. They take off, and yeah, this whole miniseries was pointless. It's just to showcase other areas of the multiverse. This one in Countdown Arena both did that, and I don't fault Justin and Jimmy. Just a very faulty, miniseries. But the adventure they had, taking some weird gender-bent versions of events, was interesting. These two, I'm just going to breeze over because they took over for Batwing. I thought I had got all the issues up in their run. I didn't. Sorry. But I did do the Future's End, which did basically dealing with what was the, I guess you just say the last known case in Future's End timeline anyway, of Batman Incorporated dealing with Leviathan. And they also did Mr. Freeze, where they continued on what Scott Snyder set up in his Batman Annual that changed the origin of Mr. Freeze. Make you think he has a sympathetic backstory when he really doesn't. Then you also have All-Star Western. Yeah, I don't have any of his Jonah Hex stuff. That's one of the best stuff that he and Tristen ever did. But basically, Jonah Hex ends up in westernized Gotham City, and because of that, and during Night of the Owls, they actually tied it into it, where he dealt with one of the owls in the past. Really good stuff. I really like it. Now this one I love as well. Jonah Hex Yosemite Sam. You would not think this would work. And yes, that's Foghorn Leghorn. You would not think this would work. But again, like Elmer Fudd and Batman, it does. I say it does. As basically Yosemite Sam, he owns a plot of land with gold, trying to get things going. Need Jonah Hex's help to deal with some ruffians. A circus that Foghorn belonged to starts to it wants to weasel in on the money, and basically they come in, they shoot, and they take care of them all. And yeah, it was pretty dang fun, all things considered. And yeah, it just ends with Hex leaving, and Foghorn and Yosemite are they're looking good, they're looking sharp, and he's just like, he moves on. He just goes on with his life. Now next is, originally you had the Mark Russell, his Flintstones, which is very good. I'm more lately chalked up for his editor keeping him on a leash, but for the most part, again, it was good, but people did want to see how others would handle the Jetsons, and we would get that. First, in a little preview story during the Booster Gold Flintstones annual, of which Russell did write this one, and it's alright, but Jimmy and Amanda would be the ones who would handle the Jetsons one. And this one, it's a nice modern take on the Jetsons, where basically you're seeing Judy meeting up with her grandmother, Rose, as basically we find out that, most of the planet's covered in water because the ice caps melted, yada, yada, yada. And basically she's at an end-of-life options center. George finds out where she's going, and it is at Cogswell Cogs, not Space Lace Sprockets. And basically they show it up there, and Judy seems to be the one that really connects with her grandmother more than anyone else. But yeah, they show up, and they see, did you stop it? What happened? Turns out Rose becomes Rosie the robot. I like that. It's a nice twist on things, having Rosie be George's actual mom with her mind put into a robotic body. And she even says, well, if it fails, then she'll be with her husband, Judy's grandfather. But if it works, they'll be stuck with her. But she'll be able to keep on living and helping. Then that leads into the miniseries. Yeah, they kept it to a 6-issue miniseries, and I'm kind of glad they did. But in this case, for starters, yes, they have even Astron here, but he doesn't talk. Not yet. But basically you deal with what seems to be like another disaster about to happen on the planet. You think a asteroid's going to smash into it. George one thing about it is that George, he's one of the few people who can do analog stuff, manual stuff. Everyone else is so automatic that he's special for that. And Space Lady is not that much of an asshole. He's an asshole still, but not that much. You have Elroy, boy, genius, Judy, all that stuff. Jane's also a genius. In fact, she's working up in space trying to prevent this disaster from happening. Yeah, I love that. And basically, eventually, George is able to understand, read minds and understand Astro. He's able to eventually turn it on and off, but that's how we get talking Astro. They find out later that, turns out it was the aliens are trying to help, not hurt. And eventually, this it goes on where they continue on with their lives. And it's just a big adventure. We're trying to deal with trying to prevent the end of the world. And family. That's the best I can say about this. It's about family and trying to save the world. Now we're getting into the big stuff. But we're not in the Harley Quinn yet. We're getting there. We're almost there. First is one of the other, what I call one of the lead-ups to Harley Quinn. And that was the one-off issue they did during Supergirl. It's Supergirl number 12. This is a post-crisis Supergirl when it's Kara Zor-El, and it was Jimmy, Justin, and Amanda as they Supergirl. They're playing off with what Joe Kelly was doing with Supergirl. She's trying to avoid the S. She's like, just because I wear the S doesn't mean I have to be like my cousin. But eventually, this is also an Angel is a character that they obviously love. But before I gotta say, I love this. You see her bopping with he's her Batgirl, Black Canary, but then holy. I just love it. She's like holy. And then then a monster attacks and she's like, ugh, a monster. And we're introduced to the new Terra 3. Now originally they weren't going, she was named Terra, she wasn't going to be Terra, but Danny Dio suggested, hey, have her be the new Terra, and thus she was. And they do defeat the monster, but I just like it how such a sweet soul Atlee, that's her name, is. She's trying to fix things together, saying, I'm not ready to tell my name, it's too soon. Yeah, we won't get that till a little bit later, but, she's basically like, you're not really Supergirl, are you? I am too. You don't act like Supergirl. Like her. Supergirl wouldn't go dancing when there's trouble. How the hell would you know? I just love the speech bubble. But then she leaves. Feels like, she just feels so bad about what all the things she said. Basically saying, like, hey, yeah, I can have fun. I don't need to save the day. But at this point when we had the younger Captain Boomerang, his son in this, before Jeff Johns kind of derailed him just to kill him off. But I love this bit. I met a girl. Explain, and don't leave out any details, idiot. It's just like, explain, and don't leave out any details. It's like, I think any guy would feel like that when she says, I met a girl. Then we would get into the 4-issue miniseries that focused on Terra. And basically explains her world, and this was even more of a prelude to Power Girl, which I'll get to in a moment, but it opens up right in the middle of the action. As she's dealing with a bunch of subterranean creatures. And again, one thing I like about Atlee is she's just this pure soul, to the point of being annoying, but they do play that up. And she's just this sweetheart. She's not perfect. She's definitely not perfect. But obviously she's the focused character. I also like how we have the bad guy is someone who finds this weird goop, gets pulled inside, and somehow comes out as a living diamond or crystal or whatever. And then eventually there's a volcanic island. She's trying to help people, get them out of there. She gets exhausted and passes out. Power Girl comes in and helps get her out of there. And then, the one guy decided, the guy who got turned to crystal, he tried to be betrayed. He's like, yeah, I saw this coming. I'm not going to let you do it. And, then of course, Mr. and Dr. Midnight had did some research on her, and Power Girl's like, what? I can't believe you did that. And, basically they even said like she's a perfect genetic match for the recent Terra 2, which is like, wait, what? And then I love this. Opens up like, you did what to me? Look at that face on Karen. She's like, oh crap. And then we get through a whole bunch of almost censors. Eat up the bird flying by, a hand, etc., etc. Well-placed counsel. Another hand, etc., etc. Speech bubble. I love that. I love what they're doing. She's basically she's like, I'm leaving, I'm out of here, because they're trying to figure out everything and she doesn't want to tell them. Super Power Girl's trying to tell them, like, come on, you can trust me, I didn't mean for this. We deal with Silver Banshee showing up. Again, I love Amanda Connor's artwork. She is so incredible. Just all of the artwork, and oh, I love it. The guy accidentally falls and dies because he had some mystical item, and then I love she's trying to give him a little blessing, and then he gets up. Why isn't it a simple? Great magic, my favorite. Again, it's just like she knows what she's doing for the most part, and yet she's still inexperienced, and it's just so cute. And then hold on. I thought she's trying to convince her to do something heroic, and then eventually just calls her a coward. And I love how Banshee's like, coward? And basically Banshee helps them stop the guy, is able to get away because, well, she helped him out. We then see the crystal guy with his girlfriend decides to take her to that liquid just so they can see what can happen, because she convinces him saying, you know, can it turn me into Diamond too? And I actually like how they're not being full on evil. It's just, you know, they're singing big plans because he's in all this. We also then get into her meeting up with Geoforce, and he gets possessed, which leads into the next issue where she is that one James Bond cover. I love whenever they do something like that, and basically fights them off, deals with them, you know, is able to get whatever's controlling Geoforce out of him. Then the guy who turned the diamond goes there, takes his girlfriend there. She jumps in, but something goes wrong and she freezes. For some reason, he can move, she can't. Then, because they're trying to hurry and save Geoforce's life, Atlee is just blowing on through, you know, makes a hole, don't even look around at anything. And then they realize they're like, maybe down there they can help us, and we're introduced to this big subterranean world, all underground. As this one weird looking alien, you know, creature comes by, you know, helps him out. And then they basically decide they're going to take care of everything. He and the crystal guy decides, I'm going to try and, you know, see if they can help you. And then when they're there looking, they find this one group looking around until they unleash these. Oh, before we get to that, and then we turn to this big guy. It's Atlee's dad. Daddy and father. And they're just like, wait, what? How? Huh? And my father, I'm too old to be carried. Nonsense, you're still my little girl. Again, I just love so much this adorableness. But anyway, they also, the other guy unleashes these creatures. They attack his, they start going for his girl, Veronica, his girlfriend, and they shatter her. He flips out. And then we also are given a bit more explanation how basically they tried that the Terra 2 that was around for most of 0 Hour Titans was actually one of these underground people who were actually trying to, they decided, let's try and make her look like the, you know, Terra, make her a more recognizable face and try and, you know, help be our representative. Unfortunately, in doing so, they also gave some of the memories to her, and then there was a bit of a screw up there. Then she died during World War III, and then then she basically saying like we don't as a species interfere. That's why we send champions out. And then afterward, then Atlee decided they're saying, okay, forget it. Let's not try and copy it. Let's just send one of our own. And that's when she goes up. And at the very end of this issue, it's the Diamond guy showing up with his girlfriend, basically saying, this is where my ascension begins. Clearly being Diamond and then having her shatter has caused him to become more and more unhinged. Then the last issue, which I should point out, sets a bit of a trend that we're going to see later on. Right now, since this was 4 issues, not that much going on here, but this sets up something that would be happening for quite a while, like any run from this point on. Anyway, the guy's attacking, causing all sorts of damage. Eventually, Veronica's head falls in there. When he takes her out, she's just a little rock because all her features have been smoothed away. He's like, "Why?" And she's even asking, "Why are you attacking us?" "This is all your fault." Yikes! As they keep on fighting, and since they don't know what's going on because everything's happening so fast, they are like, "What the heck is this problem?" And then eventually, they beat him, pin him down, figure out what's going on, and they try to fix him. But anyway, we find out that long ago, around the time of the dinosaurs, and they don't clarify if this is what killed them or not, but this giant space astronaut crash lands. He was long dead before he landed. And when he did, his decomposed body eventually, because of his suit, contained everything, but caused a whole bunch of life to form within him, forming these people out of his blood. And that was the goop that turned these people into what they were, into their crystal forms. And basically, we find out that that's how the species came about. Then and then they're told that they'll try and fix the damage done to the one guy, but they can't have anyone else know, so they decide to wipe Geoforce's memories. But they make it clear, your heart's in the right place, and it'll be like, if you want to use the name Terra, go right ahead. Then eventually we go on to Terra meeting up with Power Girl. This will eventually into the Power Girl stuff. As they're hanging out, she feels like, "Hey, you can help me out here." And then they deal with Satana, the villainess who's worked with Ultra Humanite, and she uses wild animals. They take her down, and I love that. It's like, "Who's your friend?" Who's your friend? "I'm Terra." "Easy, Barney, and she ain't legal." "Oh, right. Where do I apply for citizenship?" And then it leads to another little interesting bit where they say, let's go on. "Want to go shopping? Is that fun? Are you serious? And are you kidding?" "No, I'm serious." And basically leads into this funny montage. I just love this whole montage. Just like, again, the expressions that Amanda does, and I love her take on Power Girl. Their take on Power Girl is so good. I love this, how she's trying sushi, doesn't like it, and I love it. She's like, classy. And then it just ends with, it just ends with them going off and deciding, to go, have some fun. And it ends there, ready to lead into the first 12 issues of Power Girl ongoing. Right here. I love this as well. This was so good and really, really got so many things just right about the character. And this is all after Jeff Johns fixed her and everything, and basically you first open up with Karen dealing with a bunch of evil creatures. Then we deal with her time as Karen Starr, where she's showing this one guy around, and I love it. It's like, I love this. To explain everything to him, guy looks down at her chest, but she doesn't mind, and she just says, "Good kid, but shy, awkward, and tall as a beanstalk, but brilliant. I could overlook him staring at my chest. It's something I had to get used to." And then we continue back and forth, different points in time as we're dealing with the attack. And then, dealing with the Ultra Humanite. And then, I love this. Again, like dealing with some of the other people, she's trying to restart Star Industries. And they're like, blah, 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 Karen, blah, 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 blah. And she's trying to get her away from her. And then we see her deal with this guy who I swear would be played by Brad Dourif. He's looking at all these snow globes. And I just love this bit. quit messing with my globes. Now I also love this. There's gonna be a coloring error. That's her cat. Her cat never is supposed to be orange, not gray. This is her cat from the Bwahaha days. The one that had the buy this issue or we won't shoot this cat. Yeah, everyone hated that cat. And yeah, that ended up being a bit of an error, a coloring error, but they eventually make a joke out of it. Now here's something else though. Ultra Human steals Manhattan. Yeah. And we'll get more into that as the next issue deals with them fighting, and then we actually get a bit we see hold on. Donna, one of her other co-workers and friend, is freaking out because she has a child. It would later be made very clear. Actually, no, I'll get to that later. Actually, but yeah, and so she's all freaking out for obvious reasons. But then we eventually, and also the Justice Society are trying to help. I mean, come on, it's Power Girl. You have the society there. And then we start to get the backstory as Ultra Human basically was a genius, an incredible genius, but basically, his father couldn't raise him, so he gives him up for science to study him, and he's basically trying to fix his medical condition. Unfortunately, it involved experimentation. There's Satana there, and they were not allowing it any further. They eventually leave, as they're still trying to do some illegal experiments to help himself, because basically his brain's going to get too big for his head to handle. So eventually it leads to the white gorilla, as she puts them in just as some people are attacking them, and he beats the shit out of him. And Satana is turned on as all hell. He's like, I'm covered in blood. Like, and don't you dare wash it off. Although, from what I understand of gorillas like that, she's not gonna like what she sees once they get started. She'll be like, oh, see ya. And I don't know, okay, like, that was gross. And then it starts to leave. Basically, he's gonna try and put his brain into her body then. Then, basically, next issue deals with her escaping, fighting, and throws Ultra Human into this vat that ends up taking out most of his skin, leaving him muscle, painful muscle. Yeah, as he's ready to bring everything down, and unfortunately the machine's way too complicated for her to control as Manhattan's coming down. But then Tara's there to help, but then they realize, but wait, how can you put Manhattan back? It's been ripped out from the ground. There's no way. Then of course Tara converts the bottom half of Manhattan into a glove, basically to catch it. And then once it does, brings it back down. Now obviously there's going to be some repairs needed for afterwards, but eventually things are going back to normal. And I love it how Donna's basically like, okay, we're getting out of here. I'm not waiting. Get me out right now. As basically they get out of there. They're all done. And everything seems to be fine and dandy and fine. And then we open up with these three space divas, basically. And then the next issue, Big Bang cameo as Karen takes Atlee out to go to the movies, and I love this how they're just like, no, quick, get out, he's on adventure. Shh, you can't hear you, keep it down. She's all freaking out over a movie, and then you later find out, I like horror movies, but I like them hard R, not this watered down teen stuff. That was watered down. And then once they realize there's some action going on, we find out Tara's not wearing her outfit, to which Karen even says, you need to wear your costume under everything, except like a cocktail dress or a bikini type situation. We're on the clock, kid. And so we have this woman going around with a magic book, just causing all sorts of mayhem. And then, I love it. Cute little ladybug panties on her. It's just so adorable. And, I gotta say, I know she made a joke about it in Harley Quinn, but can Amanda kind of draw anyone with small boobs? I mean, seriously, even Atlee is huge. And then they defeat her, close the book, etc., etc. And then, now, here's where we see her cat again. I noticed something looks a little off with the coloring. We'll get to that next issue, but I was like, the cat's just like, meow. Oh yeah, then she gets a new apartment. And turns out, when the realtor tells her, you know, like, what's the catch? There is no catch. It's my place. What I mean is, I own it. The last tenant was caught with his pants down on top of his secretary by yours truly. I had to give it up in a hurry. Meaning it's her ex. And 2 months security, and it's all hers. And she takes it. Then it leads into more action. As that leads into them dealing with those divas. That's basically what I was calling space divas. And again, I just love moments like this where she's knocked down, battered, and basically the diva's accidentally killed someone. So people are like, oh no, what do we do? And it was an accident. It was a legit accident, but I love it how they're having to help, you know, this fireman helps her out, like, my girlfriend's going to kill me. And why would she? Oh yeah, tell her you were doing your job. Yeah, that'll go over well. I love that. And then we find out, turns out, the cat, he got into some of the graphite powder. Yeah, that explains why you went gray. And look at that, the cat's like, I'm not happy. And again, I just love this, how it's just like, wow, wow, wow. And then it's like, they took a coloring error and fixed it in story. I wish comics would do that more. And I just love it, it's like, and then as you sleep on, someone opens the door and then, also during this, we find out the guy that was messing with Karen's globes and telling her off being a very sexist pig was Donna's ex-husband. Yeah, brilliant mind, horrible with women. But I do like how they actually just played up where it's like, she's like, no, he's a good guy, but yeah, what was I thinking? Then, again, next issue, wraps up with those girls, and then, yeah, basically it ends with them, you know, helping out and everything. They get out of there. She basically she gets them to give them their own little place to stay so they can not go back into space. Atlee is just being her typical goofy, trying to figure out the world itself. Then we're introduced to Vartox. This is an oldie of a guy, and again, I love about some of here that we're introduced to some of these characters, and one of which is the Blue Snowman, a legitimate obscure villain who even says here life expectancy. They keep on saying, you know, like, oh, this. It's her series. What do you think for Power Girl? Life expectancy for Dr. Midnight, shaken but not stirred. And then for life, she's a Wonder Woman villain with gender issues. But then, because, you know, it's a woman, but she's called Blue Snowman. And it says life expectancy, panel 4, page 14. What ends up happening? Vartox, first of all, it's like, I'm in love. But you're a woman? You're a chick in love. Come back, Vartox. I'll be your mate. Oh, God, this isn't happening. And then she unleashed Vartox, because Vartox, he's trying to find a mate. Why? Everyone on their planet has been sterilized. Yeah, so unless they need to go through everything, it's not going, you know, their planet, species is not going to last. I love it. Blue Snowman's like, it's like, I'll save you. Chomp. Yep. Page 4, panel 4, page 14. She dead. And then, you know, they fight off the creature. There's more of them because they multiplied. Basically, like, yeah, what an idiot. And then they deal with it all, send it out into space, and then he finally explains his situation. And at the same time, we're seeing Satana getting ready for trying to get get planning out stuff. Oh. No. Yeah, look at it. And then he comes up there and basically points out, he explains how their species works. Oh, and this was an outfit that Adam Hughes had done that Americana loved. They wanted to find some way to fit this in here. And basically he explains how how everything works. And basically, but first I just love it. It's like, you didn't sincerely think we could repopulate the entire planet, did you? Given our stamina and power, I'd assume. I may have a lot of super powered body part, but even us superheroes have limits. And then he's like, oh, you thought, oh my, this is awkward. He's all embarrassed. Turns out they were going to use a ray to do it. They basically just refertilized the population, get things going again. And so she's basically like, she agrees to help with that. And I just love it. It's like, Choom! And they thank you for your help. Wait, so that's it? Yes, I must be going. What perp? I was joking. Jerk. Get out of my universe. And he's basically saying like, thank you, seriously. Go home. Seriously. And if anyone asks, this never happens. Then we see Satana working with Savannah, ready to help her out. Then it gets into, throughout all of this also, Karen's been dealing with this kid who, and with someone who basically reveals, I know who you are, showing off photos. And we see this kid running in, and basically this kid saying like, someone gave me an address, he told me to do this for you, and he basically runs off, and Karen's trying to figure out, who knows, how did someone get photos of her? How could she have been so careless? Then we see Satana attacking with his big mallet, as she is just wailing on Karen, and just fighting her hard, bringing in this other device that's meant to try and crush her. And then Tara shows up, vicious. She is very vicious. And then the ladies with me, guys. And basically Tara takes her down and then starts to get really terrifying until she tells her how to undo it all, undoes it, and gets it off of her. They defeated Satana. And first of all, she's like, why did you act like that? And he's like, I thought you were dying. I was trying to help. And somehow Atlee's acting a little bit off. Nothing major yet, but she's just like, huh? And it turns out it was the kid. The kid, she realized, was the one behind it all. And says, I just love it, how he's basically like, I just want 3 demands, alright? Aren't you a little young for blackmail? I'm dealing with puberty and a whole lot of peer pressure. Get point? What if I don't want to play along? You're a hero. You won't do anything really bad to me. I backed up all the pictures on a server, so even if you rat me out to my mom, I can still leak them to the tabloid TV. What do you want? The first request is a simple one, and has to be done today since it's Wednesday. I want you to come with me to pick up my weekly comic books today. Second, I want you to take care of Danny Krieger and his gang of bullies. They beat me up each morning and take my lunch money. And third, I want you to help me ask Aiden Robinson for a date. There's always a girl. And then, hold on. I love it how they basically go to the comic book store. Everything's all cool and all that. And then he's like, I'll help you. I did what you want. Now go home and destroy it. And basically just tells him, like, you have a great responsibility. If you could get hurt if anything happens. And the kid actually says, I'll destroy them. I promise. Oh. Look at this guy. Get a load of this clown. Then more start to attack until Atlee then turns on her. Turns out it's Ultra Humanite taking over, which explains why everything's been so off. Then we get into this issue where basically, Ultra Humanites in Tara's body keep on fighting, and they just fight throughout the whole issue until then they go to she knocks him and knocks Ultra Humanite out, goes to Satana, and she's Satana's like, oh, what can you possibly? Ka-choom! What kind of hero does it? You can put a new arm back on. and we find Atlee in Ultra Humanite's old body. And but then once they get underground, Ultra Humanite wakes up and they just start tussling more. And I love how Atlee even says, "Don't hold back. Strata is my home and we have cloning technology. Allura can bring my body back. Go kick my ass." And sure enough, doesn't hold back. Wails on her. Takes her and takes him down. And then that leads into them not only healing up Atlee, but actually giving Ultra Humanite a new body, completely without his flaw. So Ultra Humanite's human again. But it ends before he's going to go away, as him thinking condescending, sanctimonious, and all that. Then Satana, sure enough, gives herself a new arm, and she wants to talk with Dr. Savannah again. And then here's the next cover. See what I mean? A bit more, kind of like the Terra one, but a bit broader. And oh boy, even Karen's like, "Are you kidding me? Are you really serious?" As we're seeing all this beautiful, artwork again. Then I love this. Satana and her had sex, and even says like, "We're bad guys, Savannah. Unlike the rest of the saps, we don't have to lie about our motivations." And then turns out he got what he wanted. He got sex with her, and he's like, "Oh, what I gave you should have done the job. It's not my fault. You're incompetent." And he then gets rid of Satana and just knocks her out of the building. Also, we're introduced to Atlee's mom. Okay, now we get some of them are human looking. That explains Atlee. And then turns out all that stuff was Power Girl fixed everything for the boy. Didn't need the other request, and he did as he was told. He deleted everything. Oh, this is how she tries to come up with a name for her cat, and then she comes up with Stinky. And then Bartok's again. Oh Lord. I just love that when she's trying to explain, he's trying to again woo her again. She's like, "Okay, I'm going." And then basically at the end of it all, things are going on. They have a great business deal. One of the supporting characters said she's got a new gig, and so she's leaving. And they got a little help from the Space Divas, who have actually been doing great. And it basically ends with basically everyone celebrating. And that was the end. They were on for 12 issues. They told some great stuff. Then we got, of course, get into the big one. The huge one. Oh boy, here we go, here we go, here we go. The first bit of their Harley Quinn stuff. Yeah, there's a reason why there was an omnibuses of this. I've already went off about the Zero issue, and the origin was a nice, cute one, a lot better than the Villain Months issue, where it was even worse, far more dangerous and worse than for her. But basically, it's around all of Harley Quinn stuff. It's dealing with her being a landlord of a tenant building and having these crazy adventures. And yeah, what else can I say about this? It's just a whole bunch of zaniness, insanity, dealing with some other villains showing up. And at first, it looks like there's a hit out on her. Then we later find out that turns out, oh, she put it on herself in her sleep. Stuff with her and Harley. We have that crazy beaver I mentioned about before. Then we have, I gotta talk about this a second. I love this one, if for no other reason than for one particular story beat in throughout all this. And that was, okay, where is it? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh. Holy hordes of hunkiness. Sorry, you're gonna have to use your imagination. Yeah, I know none of them was the real one, but I had to make sure. Can I get your number? Best con ever. I love that. I don't know why. It's just hilarious. It's just like, why does I have a feeling that's something that Harley would do? And she's like, holy, you You know what? Let's find out. Then, again, just a bunch of other crazy stories. And you had the Future's End where... Sorry about that interruption. As I was saying, the Future's End deals with Joker in her life again. And then... but it ends, you know, it's not really canon at all. Then we get the annual, which was actually a scented one. Except in this case, it's rub and smell instead of scratch and sniff. It's rub and smell. Like example, this leather. Although, to be fair, the interesting one is the very last one. I'm not going to rub it because I'd rather stay a bit clean, but... yeah, what do you think that is? Yeah, if you want to get high a little, just give that a rub. And although, to be fair, in the UK version, it ended up being mint or something, or wintergreen. Then we get the two of the 3 issues, I'll get to why, of where Power Girl shows up. Why? This is the Power Girl from pre-New 52. So, in other words, the one that those two had written. That's actually important for later because, but Supergirl and Power Girl ends up with amnesia. She does not remember anything. But Harley decides, new best friend! Yay! And then this eventually leads to, again, just some zany antics. And all of a sudden then, a portal, they were sent into another universe. And all of a sudden they come right back and she's wearing a wedding dress. And we're like, what the hell happened? Dealt with, Vartox. Like, Vartox was cute. And then it ends there. Turns out, we actually get an explanation of what happened. An entire 6-issue miniseries is then dedicated to filling that in. And it's some crazy stuff, but this is where it confirms that, yeah, this is the other Supergirl. But throughout all this, she still has amnesia. She does not remember anything at all. And yet, this is Vartox from the other universe, still trying to woo Supergirl again. And he still just can't take a hint. Until eventually the two of them are sent back and they leave. They take off, leave, and Vartox finally gets the hint. Then we get into the final issue where they deal with a bunch of other stuff, deal with the bad guys, and then I love this bit where she's doing, where Power Girl's doing some flexing. Wow, let's look at her, ripped and hot. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of monkeys jump on her, and I love it. Bad monkey. Power Girl, stop spanking. You know what? Even I won't go. Even I ain't gonna finish that one. Don't spank that. You know what? Even I'm not gonna finish that one. But then at the very end, Power Girl eventually does get her memories in the dumbest way possible. All of that punching, all of those knocking around, it takes pigeon poop to make her remember. And I was like, not for you, liar. No way. This can't be happy. Not from a pigeon turn. It hit me like an explosion in my brain. I remember everything. How I got here, where I'm from, how you lied to me. I don't like liars. And then, and she's begging her. She eventually gets more toony until she finally calms down. And then it leads into a little bit of stuff with her and Bruce, and then the Valentine's Day special. I love how Bruce Batman has actually learned how to kiss differently. Then you got a few more, again, just craziness. Then you have the road trip special with Poison and Ivy, which actually ties into the little Bizarro miniseries that was going on at the same time. Then you eventually started to bring in the gang of Harleys. Eventually, again, I'm not going to go over every little thing, but you know, we just have a whole bunch of other crazy stuff going on. Eventually, we brought in They bring in Red Tool, and then what seems to be Joker shows up. We're not entirely sure. It's not him. It's someone made to look like him. Oh, then there was this stuff that came later on to introduce this Genie. Nice. Then eventually, they had her change her hair. Why? Because of the movie, the Suicide Squad movie. And hold on. Was that here or? Yeah, it was here. I love it. It's so cinematic. Now we get Red Tool. And then eventually this leads into Harley and the Gang of Harleys, where Jimmy Moore did the plotting on this one. And then Frank Thierry, who would later take over for a while and then do Old Lady Harley. They were both writers on this one. Basically dealt with Harley getting her own little gang, and then going on from, and one of them tries to take over, and yeah, then we get the last 2 issues. The second to last one deals with her in this giant mech suit. That's awesome. But how does she beat the bad guy? You really want to know? Sits down right in this building and then blasts it. Good lord. Then you know, the last issue, which was more zaniness. Then there was also, before we continue on, we got Harley's Little Black Book, which basically was a tour de force of different artists different artists working with them. The first one also got tied into in Justice League vs. Suicide Squad, where she and Wonder Woman become good friends and everything. And, they become best friends. And then you got her with Green Lantern. Again, it was some very good stuff, just dealing with the different ring, Harley getting a weird ring. Then you have with Billy Tucci, they do the Bombshells version. This was actually kind of clever too. Then you got the Tana with J. Michael Lynch here from the Wolverine Black Hat. Yeah, and given how you saw that artwork was, you can definitely tell, great women. Then, one I love. Those of you who know about the Superman vs. Muhammad Ali with Neil Adams, they do it, retell it, condense it down in a way that's still incredible. Yeah, it is such great stuff. And Harley beats up Superman because she's in the Muhammad Ali role and took a little pill that made her strength stronger. And yeah, it basically takes the same plot but then condenses it and reworks the dialogue. Then you got Her Was Lobo with Simon Bisley. And the artwork on this one, it's Simon Bisley. And yeah, Bisley, it's very scratchy but very interesting. But then, where is it? Oh, the red flags. Nope. Trying to censor them all because they're naked. And that was the end of the Little Black Book. Didn't do any more. Eventually it was going to come up on a when it's done basis, but they decided to stop. Then you get, with a little bit of a hint off in this one, you get their Starfire book. I'm not going to go over that much. It's alright. Nothing great. They really didn't have a good handle on Starfire, although some say it was still better than Jeff Lowe and Scott Lobdell. Take that for what you will. But the ending, look at that. Same ending kind of shot, posing up the character and all that. And Atlee shows up again, although she's now known as Atlee, not Tara. And it's played up like she does remember stuff from beforehand, yet kind of not. I don't know, but yeah, it was all kinds of fun. Yep, see, there she is. There's Atlee. Then it leads into, after a little bit of divergent here, the last chunk of their Harley Quinn work. And it's just more of the same. Although eventually we did then have Paul Dini showing up doing some backup stuff. Atlee and Power Girl actually show up and help out. Then, like I said, Paul Dini does these backup stories that last for a while. We had the 25th anniversary special for her 25 years of being around. The 25th issue of since Rebirth anyway. Then Harley runs for mayor, and then it starts to get really serious. Until the last issue then, which, well, first of all, once again, same kind of cover. Then we get into one bit I love. I know, seriously, they had to do this for the ending. But first, after wondering where the hell they are, we actually find her old hyenas. They're still alive, and they actually have little pups. So cute. Then, she meets up with Palmiotti and Connor and starts to go to town on everything. Until Amanda then puts her in her place then. It's like, hey, you really think, quit your world famous whining. You're in like every DC ass load of video games, anime shows, and movies. And you even have the best selling Halloween costume. And what? You bust in here and destroy our workplace? Is that the things we get? You better cut the crap out or you're gonna what? And break stuff. No fooling. Huh? What does it even mean? Because we find out, it was all a dream. But having her deal with Amanda and Jimmy is hilarious. And basically she and Ivy go on to the sunset together. That's the last shot of the book. But the two would return for Harley Quinn and Gustavo. It's good. I would say it's good, not great. It's interesting, but it feels more of the same for all their Harley Quinn stuff. But basically, their Harley Quinn was interesting in its own little reality, which is what it was. It was Harley tying into the DC universe, and on its own, I can accept it. Did they have to make her like a Deadpool light? Not really, but on its own, I still enjoyed it. I think it was not the worst stuff done. In fact, yes, you could say kind of has put a bit of a mark on Harley, for good or for ill, take your pick, and obviously it's going to be part of the influence for the upcoming Birds of Prey. Again, good or for ill, I don't know. But it's still good work still, if you ask me. I will say this though, if I had to get one bit of criticism, I personally think that that Jimmy was better with Justin than with Amanda. Nothing against Amanda. She gives him great ideas. She has some great ideas of her own. I just think that because it's her, their husband and wife, especially when they were writing it, I'm not gonna say yes or no to each other. I mean, they'll probably argue stuff, but I kind of think Justin being more good friends. I don't know how the working relationship works like, but it feels like you could tell there's a difference in the writing style between Jimmy and Justin and Jimmy and Amanda. There is a difference, as well there should be, and I don't know, it just felt a little like coming to her Power Girl stuff when it was Jimmy was just Amanda doing art, felt so on the mark, so perfect. Harley felt giving her way too much freedom, way all over the place, and yeah, it's kind of, it makes you wonder if it was Harley or just someone else that is named Harley. Again, when it works, and when she's with Ivy and Catwoman, it's good. It's hit and miss. When it's hit, it's a hit. When it's missed, it's a dud. And what can you say though? I mean, obviously I think they ran out of ideas by the end, but I think it was still interesting stuff, and the fact that it lasted that long, yeah, it has to be doing something right. So that's all I have on Jimmy and Jimmy Palmiotti's work. He's a very good writer. Very good. Good at comedy, good at drama when needed. He's a very dependable writer, and you put him on whatever you need, he'll get the job done and make it good. He's not one of those guys you just put him on and he gives half-ass. No, he usually gives it his all. And yeah, what else can I say? Not much else. Don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Probably not going to do another creative spotlight. This one definitely is pushing me a little on the edge, so not seeing much else. Although someone else had something to say afterwards. I think you all know who it is from the Con King video, so Tristen, take it away. See ya.
Hey guys, it is Tristen with Nerdette's Newstand, and when Robert asked me about Jimmy Palmiotti, there was a lot that could be said. So I DM'd Jimmy and I asked him who he liked to write the most, who he enjoyed writing personally, because there's so much good. I could literally just focus on Harley alone. So he did mention Jonah Hex, and unfortunately, I never read it. I didn't ever get into that character. It was never my forte. But then he mentions Painkiller Jane, and Lord have mercy, that was such a good run from Icon. I loved Painkiller Jane. And Jane Vasco to me was always super sexy without having to overdo it. And that's how he wrote her. I also loved the fact that Jane she was that ex-cop. She had those amazing healing powers. There was a lot of things that he wrote really well about her. And I love how, at least from the series that I read how it ended. It ended on like, you know, her going blonde and wanting to find love, and it ended well. Now, my main thing with Jimmy is Harley, of course. I mean, that's his big thing for what he's known for, right? So I like how he's written Harley. I love how he's written Harley. I've said it before, though, and I think Harley has always been Harley best at Harley when she is Joker's punching bag. Now, with that being said, he is the best writer of solo Harley, because the run now, Chris Humphries, I can't get into it. I can get into Jimmy's writing when it comes to Harley, and I love that they're like Jimmy and Amanda Connors are this great couple in comics. I love that they do these things together, and their write on Harley was not perfect by any means, but it was very, very good. I love the fact that they made Harley, or he rather, made it so, you know, she could make up her own rules and she could break them. She wouldn't care. He made this psycho killer, this crazy lady that was a punching bag and that had Stockholm Syndrome. He made her independent, yes, which, you know, kind of goes against what I'm saying. But he also made her have a heart of gold. And I really like that. I really like that spin he gave to the character. And he would give other spins to the character, like the different costumes. She was one that could be in different costumes and people wouldn't go nuts over. We couldn't look at Batman or Superman in a completely different costume from cover to cover or from arc to arc, and people would go crazy. But we saw Harley, and as long as she had the simple things that made her Harley, I guess I'm kind of going into an Amanda rant, but you know, it was really well done how they were able to change it. I liked that to a point, and as long as they kept those classic colors, they kept those classic diamonds, I was okay with it. But the best thing I can say about Jimmy Palmiotti is that, you know, he takes from his audience, he listens to them, he wants to know what they have to say, what about the character he's writing or about what he is doing in comics. And he also gives back. He would take from different costumes people would make, or he would listen to suggestions and not just say, you know, your ideas are absolutely outrageous. He's very professional. He's very sweet. And honestly, he's one of my favorite in comics just for that simple reason alone. It takes a lot to respect a person. And if you can get that respect back, it just makes that person all the better. So that is all I have. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.